actually do prefer more savory stuff, though. I'm a salty girl. I'm like my father. My father loves salty food. And my grandpa, too. My爷爷loves salty shit. Did you guys know that my grandpa passed away because he wanted to eat his favorite food and he passed away because of that? Yeah, like it's kind of a funny but sad story. Like he wasn't supposed to eat like solids because his body couldn't handle it. So when he went home from the hospital, my nai, like my grandmother, like made him like food that he could eat that was like approved by the doctors. And he literally sat there and he was like, no, I don't want to eat this shit. And he walked out. Nobody knew where he went until he went back into the hospital and they found out that he went to his favorite restaurant to ask for his favorite dish, which was like nyoro tang, which is like beef soup with like noodles and stuff. And he ate that shit, got hospitalized, and then he passed away. And low-key, we're all like, why? Like, my God, what a Chad, seriously. I don't know what he's doing. Yeah, it was weird. Like, obviously, we were so sad and we were all crying, but at the same time, we're just like, Grandpa, please. I know, I'm not gonna lie though. Like, that sort of behavior is definitely gonna be something my dad and I would do too. Like, my dad was telling me that me and my grandpa, like my yeye, have so much in common, even though we never grew up with each other. I only met him a couple times in my life, but like, my dad was always saying like, you're exactly like your yeye, you literally just don't fucking care. And then when you do care, I don't know, we're just very similar apparently. And he literally died because he wanted to eat his favorite food, and I just can't get over that fact. I'm like, shit, is that gonna be me? I don't want to do that. I want to say goodbye to everyone. He literally was just like, fuck you. My grandpa's last words to my grandmother was, I don't want to eat this. I mean, that's a bit much. I'm not gonna lie. I would not want to leave saying that. I mean, they were like together for the longest time. Like, they were together since they were like in high school, all the way until like he was like 70 something. They're like the bestest friends, you know? So at that point, I guess like just leaving like that is like, maybe he would be fine with it, you know? It's not always like dramatic like in the movies, like, goodbye my love, I'll always love. Sometimes it's just like, bro, I don't want to eat this. And then you just like die. Not to say that it was funny that he died, because, you know, I love my grandpa so much. I barely got to really know him, but for some reason I feel like we really connected the few times we like got to interact. I wish I got to know him more because, you know, I always hear stories from my dad about him. But I do think it was funny that like he was just so stubborn about eating his favorite food that he passed on. My grandma wasn't even upset. He was just like, that fucking idiot. Imagine you are so close to someone and you're like the bestest friends with someone, and then you like get married, have kids, have grandchildren, and then they die because they want to eat their favorite food, and then you're not even like super. Like, my grandma did cry, but she wasn't like, oh my God. She was just like, this fucking idiot, you know? It was like an anime protagonist, guys. This is so weird. My grandma cried more when she saw that I was crying. She was just like, oh, even you're crying. You barely knew him and you're crying. And I was like, yeah, that's why I'm crying, because I barely got to know him. My grandma was just like, oh yeah, he's really funny, you know? He's so stubborn, and I can't believe the last thing he said to me was, I don't want to eat this. Like, fuck you. You know, my grandma was just like, fuck you. You know, it was so funny. They're so, like, they're perfect for each other. I'm sorry for laughing at this. No, please laugh at it. I'm sure, like, my grandpa was so chill. You know, honestly, I wouldn't even be surprised if he staged this, okay? Like, he was so chill about everything. Everything was always, like, towards the end of, like, his life, he was really chill about everything. And he was always the one telling me and my dad, like, don't take life too seriously. And he literally, like, left not taking it seriously at all. Honestly, every single person that knew my grandpa when he passed on, they were just like, man, this guy was such a guy, you know? Like, we were sad, obviously, and we did cry a bit, but it was almost like a celebration of, like, who he was, you know? Like, we celebrated him not dying, but like we celebrated like getting to know him and like of who he was and how he was just like always himself. I remember like my dad said that he and his siblings and his my grandmother, so his mother, would like sit in a circle and just talk about all the stories that happened when they were like children, and like stories of when my grandmother like first, you know, dated my grandpa. Yo guys, I hope one day if I pass on, you guys can like, you know, laugh at me too. Not at me, but like with me. If I died and I still had a conscience, I would laugh, you know? I'd be like, yo, my last meal, let's go. Like, my grandparents always had the mindset where it's like, oh, if I'm sick, then I'm just gonna, like, live every day to the fullest, and when I'm ready to go, I'll go. You know, I don't really know why. They're like, okay, yeah, I've lived, like, my life. You know, I have grandchildren, blah, blah, blah. Like, it's about time I pass. Like, they're very accepting of it, and I really can't imagine doing that. I guess maybe it's because I'm still young. But I literally can't accept, like, going like, oh, tomorrow, like, if I die tomorrow, like, I'll be okay with it. I mean, like, there were some times where I'll be like, if I, like, die tomorrow, I think I'll be okay with it, you know? Like, yeah, it's partly true, but I would like to stay alive a little longer because I got some shit to do, you know? Anyways, if I ever go back to my grandma and grandpa's hometown in the countryside, I'm definitely gonna go to that restaurant that he ate at, and I'm gonna be like, okay, how good is this shit? I swear to God, Grandpa, if it's not that good, like, holy shit, man. It's probably really good, I'm not gonna lie.